Expected in December, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates. Following the announcement, U.S. stock prices fell and Treasury yields climbed, briefly crossing 2.6% before pulling back. We are expecting interest rates to go higher. Earlier, Jamie Dimon told us that get your head around 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% when you're talking about the 10-year yield. What does it mean in terms of planning for your retirement? Last night in his farewell address, President Obama commented on the current state of the economy. Watch.
Today, the economy is growing again. Wages, incomes, home values, and retirement accounts are all rising again. Poverty is falling again. The wealthy are paying a fair share of taxes, even as the stock market shatters records.
Joining me right now is the president and CEO of TIAA Roger Ferguson. Roger, great to see you.
Nice to be here, Maria. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So much to talk about with you. I'm thrilled you're here to get your sense of the economy right now, and also something that's so important for our viewers, and that is planning for retirement. Let me get your take on the economy first off. How would you characterize things right now?
I'd say the economy is in very good shape. Not for everybody, obviously. So what have we seen that's positive? We've seen unemployment coming down. We've seen job creation continuing for many, many quarters, record numbers of quarters, actually, of job creation. Having said that, the election clearly showed that there are a number of folks who are still feeling that they've been left behind. And so, we have to temper the sense that the economy is doing well, because that's not true for everybody.
This is a really good point that you're making, actually, because most people would say their wages haven't moved in a long time. Manufacturing jobs have gone. The debt has doubled in the last decade from $10 to $20 trillion right now. So why do you think that is? Why haven't wages moved in so long? What's behind that?
This has been one of the big mysteries of the economy, and it's been, as you point out, decades, so it's not just since the recovery. A couple of things have been happening. One is productivity has not been increasing as much as we would have hoped. This is one of the soft spots of the economy, and it's hard for businesses to increase wages and salaries if productivity is not up. Secondly, obviously, we're seeing a lot of technology that's coming in, and that therefore means that we don't necessarily have to pay people as much as we would have otherwise.
And automation takes some.
And automation takes some. And so it's a complicated and mixed story.
President-elect Donald Trump obviously is going to be changing a lot of things. He's come up with a tax plan to lower corporate taxes to 15%, lower taxes, roll back regulations. What do you see as the impact of such a plan should it materialize?
As you point out, should that plan materialize, I think it's going to be net positive for the economy. There's a general broad consensus that we need to do something around corporate taxes. I think that's a nonpartisan or bipartisan perspective. Certainly, there are a number of folks who think that the individual tax structure could change, hopefully in a way that will encourage more saving and more investment. At least that's what I would hope for.
Yeah.
And there's clearly a point of view that infrastructure spending needs to pick up in this economy.
Yeah, big time. When you look at our airports and roads and bridges in this country, it's incredible versus so many other countries across the world.
So true, so true.
Let me ask you about the rollback of regulations. This is something that a lot of people wonder about the impact. Do you think Dodd-Frank changes? What might be the impact on the financial services sector?
I think there's some possibilities that Dodd-Frank would change, for sure. We've already heard some discussion, for example, around modifying or trying to tweak in some way the Volcker rule as a possibility. There are a number of questions that have arisen around the FSOC, the Financial Stability Oversight Committee, and how they designate systemically important institutions. So there are some modifications that I think seem to possibly be on the horizon. Despite
this strength that we've seen, certainly as it relates to unemployment, as you correctly note, a lot of Americans do not have sufficient emergency money. Absolutely. They don't have savings. Absolutely. So talk to us about that. What should people do in terms of their nest eggs?
Right. So we should first recognize this is a long-term problem. So it's not as though there's going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. There are two or three things that I think we want to think about. First, increasing financial literacy. We discover that lots of folks really are relatively illiterate around finances, so they don't necessarily even understand the basis budgeting, for example, or investments and how those sorts of things work.
So
secondly,
what should they they be doing? I'm sorry, you go ahead. Secondly.
That's right. Secondly, I think we really have to help people also understand, the choices that they make in terms of consumption versus saving versus investing. Turns out that 45% of working class households don't have 1 penny saved for retirement. So we need to break this forward as a really important public policy consideration as well.
Yeah, and in terms of the right allocations, what should people be thinking about? Most people don't even know what's in their 401k.
Right.
They know that their company matches it, so they just go with it.
Right. Well, first thing, people should be saving, so you should be taking full advantage of that company match, because that's a way to immediately double your money, or whatever the match may be. Second thing is to recognize that what we really are looking for in a retirement plan is not just the ability to accumulate assets, but to have lifetime income.
Right.
And here's a place where most 401ks really don't offer in the plan the possibility of saving for lifetime income. This is really an important addition that we have to make.
Roger Ferguson, great to see you.
Great. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.